Hello class, welcome to chapter 9.2, multiplying polynomials. So we talked about what a monomial is and what a polynomial is in class, and today we're going to multiply them, and some of the rules that we learned about multiplying exponents is going to come into play today. So let's get started. So using the distributive property, I thought it'd be easier if I just wrote the problem out. So let's say we have x cubed parentheses x squared minus x plus x to the fourth plus 2. So this is multiplying and the distributive property, as we're well aware of, but we're going to distribute that x cubed to each piece inside of that parentheses. So x cubed really times x squared, which we know, multiplying the same base together, we add their exponents as x to the fifth. X to the third times x to the first, is x to the fourth. X to the third times x to the fourth, we get x to the seventh. And then x cubed times 2 is just 2x cubed. Now remember, when we're putting this into, remember this whole thing connected right here is a polynomial. Remember, a polynomial. This outside is just a monomial that we're multiplying inside of the polynomial. But again, it's more about the steps. Don't worry about the terminology so much. So again, when we order these, x to the seventh plus x to the fifth minus x to the fourth plus 2x to the third. Remember, we need to be decreasing in our exponents from left to right. Okay, our leading coefficient obviously is 1, and we do not have a constant term here. Okay, so if we had, let's say, 3x parentheses 4x squared plus x plus 2. We distribute that 3x to each of these pieces. So now it's 3 times 4. We're going to multiply the coefficients and add their exponents. Multiply the coefficients, add their exponents. Okay, multiply the coefficients. Okay, so this is already in correct polynomial form. Highest degree of 3 is to the left, decreasing from left to right, correct order. Leading coefficient of 12, again, no constant term here. Okay, so just remember the steps that we learned last chapter when you're distributing into a polynomial. So using FOIL, there's 2 methods when you have 2 polynomials that you're going to multiply by each other. Okay, so there's this multiplication sign in between here. Now, I am a big fan of FOIL, first, outer, inner, last, but some of you may want to use a table. So I'll go over both methods and you can choose which one you'd like. So let me rewrite this problem here, and let's talk about FOIL first. So in FOIL, the first terms are the first things that are inside the parentheses. We're going to multiply those together, and we get 3x squared here. Now the outer terms are the outer terms inside of the parentheses, which is 2x. The I is the inner piece, and then the last piece is the last piece that's inside the parentheses here. And then on FOIL, the outer and the inner will always be like terms. Okay, I guess I shouldn't say always, but more than likely they're going to be like terms, so we'll always have to combine those. Now we're adding or subtracting those, so we do not do anything with their exponents when you add or subtract. Okay, and here we go. That's our polynomial from this. Alright, so it's very important. I like to talk myself through it. Obviously, you can tell from the video, first, outer, inner, last. it's very similar to what we just talked about that one monomial. So if I broke this first one up, I'm saying it's x, and I'm going to distribute that x to both of the things inside of the parentheses. Okay, so then I'm going to take this -4, I'm going to distribute that to everything inside of the parentheses. Okay, so it's just a different method. I'm just drawing lines to show. Okay, but it's almost similar to what we just did on the previous slide, and then we combine like terms, so you get the same solution. Okay, but that's what they're talking about. That's why we did that first. We distributed that first. So we're really distributing this x to both terms inside the second parentheses, and then we're really distributing this -4 to both things inside that second parentheses to get us our final polynomial. Now, using a table method, and maybe you guys learned this with multiplying 2-digit numbers or 3-digit numbers, but we could also use this as a box method. So we have this box here. Okay, so we can say inside this box 3x times x is 3x squared, 2 times x is 2x, 3x times -4 is -12x, and -4 times 2 is -8. Now, diagonally, we'll always combine like terms, so 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. So I get the same polynomial, same solution here, okay, but you have to choose which method you like best. Okay, once you learn FOIL, it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit probably tougher, you would say, to explain. You guys probably might feel a little bit more comfortable with this method. But try FOIL a couple times, especially on your homework. Maybe try both methods just to see, to make sure you come up with the same answer. So here's more examples. Here we go. We're given a 3-term polynomial here with a 2-term. Still, you can use FOIL. Okay, so on FOIL, you're going to distribute this 3b to the 3 terms inside of that first polynomial, and then you're going to take -4 to each term in that first polynomial. Okay, so let's look at this. We got 3b to the third plus 18b minus -1. Oh, I'm sorry, this is 18b squared minus 21b. Okay, so it's almost like you want to erase this. Okay, take the -4 now, minus 4b squared minus 24 plus 28. 24b, sorry. Now this is the key part. You got to keep things alike. So we only have one 3b squared or cubed. Okay, squared. Look at the squareds. Here we go. We got to combine these. We get a positive 14b squared. Here we go, b and b, and they're both negative. So we're going to be given a larger negative here. Let's go with a 45b, and then plus 28. Okay, so that's using FOIL and the distributive property to come up with that. Now, let's say we wanted to use box method. B squared, 6b, and -7. Then we have 3b and -4. So our box is going to be a little bit bigger now. Okay, so 3b times b squared is 3b cubed. 3b times 6b is 18b squared. 3b times -7 is -21b. -4 times b squared is 4b b squared. -4 times 6b is -24b, and then 28. So diagonally again, combine like terms, combine like terms. Okay, and you come up with the same answer that we had right here. So 3b cubed, combine like terms here is that 14b squared minus that 45b plus 28. So it's just verifying my FOIL, but again, on your homework you only choose either FOIL or the box method of multiplication. Alright, so let's just look at this. I'm going to solve one of them using FOIL and the other one using the box method. Maybe when you have more than 2 terms inside of parentheses, maybe the box method may be the easiest. But when I have 2 terms, I like to use FOIL. I'm just extremely familiar with that. So combine the middle terms, 3a squared minus 2a minus 8. Okay, so it just comes naturally to me to do that. So maybe when it has, again, more terms, maybe you want to use this box method. There's nothing wrong with either of them. It's just your preference, kind of. So we have 6. Oops, sorry. Slide that to the side for 1 second. 6y. Oh, it's not going to let me do anything. Sorry, it's going to erase all the writing that I had. But going back here, if you need that writing again, let me know and we can talk about it. I apologize when I click that button on my stylist. 2y times 3y squared, 6y cubed. 2y times negative y is negative 2y squared. 2y times 5, 10y. Multiply negative 3, you get negative 9y squared. A positive 3y, just be careful of the signs when you're multiplying them. You get negative 15. Again, diagonally, common terms like terms. So we have here 6y cubed minus 11y squared plus 13y plus minus 15. Should be minus 15. Okay? So again, possibly 2 terms inside of each polynomial inside the parentheses. Maybe use FOIL. And then if one of them has 3 terms, maybe use the box method. It's up to you. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Okay, so here's your homework. Here's your 2 problems. Use any method that you like. Maybe check with a partner if they chose a different method. Make sure you guys have the same answer in the end, the same solution. Okay, if you have any questions, make sure you email me. Hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Be ready for Irish Week. Take care.